Hi Sonny Hill, it's Friday the 24th of Feb and you're back with me, Adam Clark. We've got our final reading today, another chunky bit of scripture, Genesis 46 through to 50. Jacob and Joseph, the great reunion. For years they've been separated, but God brought them back together after his plan had come through. And then, the famine hits Egypt, and Joseph basically rinses the people of everything. People buy food with all their money, and then they run out of money, so they sell their livestock and then buy the grain with the money, and then they run out of livestock. So then at the end, they end up selling themselves and the land they own. What a clever bit of business by Joseph that was. Absolutely, empowered Egypt. And then obviously that gave them slaves, and I'm assuming that's probably how they made all the pyramids and bits and pieces. And then we go on to know about the children of Israel escaping out of Egypt later on, or actually it's in Exodus. But coming back to this, God absolutely uses Joseph just to get everything out of the Egyptians. But in chapter 47, verse 27. Now the Israelites settled in Egypt, in the region of Goshen. They acquired property, and they were fruitful and increased greatly in number. And that just shows, God's blessing over his people. While all this famine and the Egyptians are selling all of their stuff, God's still blessing his people. I'm sure Joseph had a bit to play in that, but fair play. And then, I'll just skip on to verse 49. Jacob blesses his sons. And quite an interesting bit here. So Jacob, he had 4 sons with his wife Leah. So Jacob's first son, Reuben, should have inherited a double portion, but because he slept with his father's concubine, you see there, basically it passes him by. And then it's due for Simeon and Levi. But because of what we read the other day about them killing the tribe that attacked Dinah, that muddied them. They were scrapped out of the inheritance. So then it moved on to Judah. And obviously we know that Judah obviously was the bloodline of Christ. So again, there's another, corrupt way that is kind of God turns it back for good. Leah's 4th child, Judah, ends up taking the inheritance. And obviously a couple of other kids get a good dose of inheritance. Joseph does all right, and rightly so. But there's some quite harsh ones in there as well. So make sure you have a good read through through them. And obviously then it goes on to 50. Jacob dies, and then eventually Joseph dies, and then it's handed over to different pharaohs later on. But really enjoyed reading through this with you guys. Just make sure you take your time, take some good stuff in. You might miss things sometimes, but you'll always read it differently next time. So just take some stuff in, have a good chew on it, and just see what God's speaking to you through it. Well, have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care.